So, hello, ladies, and welcome to our first Impact Austin Lunch and Learn. My name is Michelle Rankin. I have been an Impact Austin member since 2010 and worked at IBM for 23 years before retiring in 2019. And I'm joined today by Christy Levy, who joined Impact Austin in 2020 and is currently working at IBM as a program director in client care. So, welcome, Christy.
Thanks.
And welcome to you, ladies. Thank you for joining us today. For those of you that don't know about Impact Austin is a women's collective giving circle, and we have a diversity of membership. It was founded in 2003 by Rebecca Powers. After the passing of her brother, she wanted to give back to the community, so she got a group of friends together around the kitchen table, and they founded Impact Austin. So that's our beginnings. And since we were founded 18 years ago, we have given over $7.6 million into the Austin community through 99 high impact grants. So we're very happy and proud of that. If you're interested in joining Impact Austin, we have a yearly membership, and you can pay your dues either in one lump sum annually or monthly. And you can choose your level of involvement in Impact Austin. So you can choose to just donate and trust the organization to invest your funds, or you can get involved with a committee, such as the grants committee, or we have marketing committees and events committees and all different kinds of committees. So you can get involved in that way, or you could choose to run for the board and serve on our board. So there's a variety of different options depending on your schedule and your balance you have in your life. So we can work with you on whatever you would be interested in. So, Christy, why don't you tell us how you heard about Impact Austin and what made you decide to join?
Sure. Thanks, Michelle. So I moved to the Austin area about 3.5 years ago. And one of the goals that I had when I moved to the area was to figure out how to get involved in the community. In the same time, through IBM, through some of our women's resource group events and some of the other community events, I kept hearing about Impact Austin. So people like Michelle, others who I had run across kind of would mention Impact Austin. And I knew it was nonprofit related, but I didn't really have a good understanding of what it was or what they did. Um, and, I had done a lot of research on which nonprofit I wanted to join. And quite frankly, it was overwhelming because there's so many great groups that exist in Austin that are doing amazing things for our community. And it was almost to the point that it was just overwhelming and I couldn't figure out where I wanted to give my money or how I wanted to get involved in the community. Late last year, I was invited to an Impact Austin webinar, and it was a small group, and they really talked in more detail about what the organization was, how it worked, kind of what this concept of collective giving was, which I didn't really have a great and full understanding of previously. And before that meeting was over, that 1 hour session on Impact Austin, what work they were doing in the community, I was hooked. And I think I was signing my, application form and working to get the paperwork submitted so I could join the organization before that meeting was even over. And really what sold me on it was the fact that it is, of a collective giving organization, our money is pulled together and there's so much due diligence that goes into making high impact grants in the community. And so my little bit of money combined with the money from many other women in the community really made tangible impacts at some of these nonprofit organizations. And so it was a way for me really that I found to get involved with lots of nonprofits in the Austin community by really focusing my time and getting involved with Impact Austin. And I'm really happy that I made that decision.
Yes,
Um,
we're happy you did too.
and Michelle, so you were one of the people that kind of had talked about Impact Austin early on, just in passing, before I really understood what the organization was. And you've been with the organization for many years in a lot of different roles. So, how has your involvement with Impact Austin changed and evolved over the years?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I joined Impact Austin in 2010 and immediately jumped onto the grant review committee. So I did a couple of years of that. And it's an excellent opportunity, like you said, to learn about not only community needs, but what nonprofits are in the area that are meeting those community needs. And so I did that for a couple years. And then, life and kids and work got busy. So I stepped back a little and just donated and didn't participate on the grants committees, but just and still voted for the finalists. So I could still have a say in who our final community partner was, but didn't participate actively. And then I stepped away for a few years because I got a promotion at work and just got even busier. And so I stepped away. And then when I was retiring from IBM, one of my goals was to get more involved in the community. And like you, I wanted to um, learn more about what was happening. And I was quickly, getting overwhelmed with all the different options. So I reached out to Becky Austin and said, just to have a conversation about what I could do. And she was telling me that Impact Austin was looking for a fellow to launch a new grant, the Social Innovation Grant, which was focused on advancing equity for women and girls of color. And would I be interested in running this new grant program for them and getting it launched? And so I did. I, jumped right on it. I was like, I love the organization, I love the grant, and so I jumped in and did that, um, and was co-chair for the SIG committee for 2 years, and that's now been folded into our core grants and has become our equity grant. And then I joined the board, and I've served on the board for the past year. And now I'm transitioning back into grants, and I'm going to be a grant coordinator, which helps oversee all the different grant review committees. So I've had a lot of different roles, and I kind of tailor those roles to where I am in my life and the amount of time that I have to commit to the organization. And so it's been really great for me, that flexibility to be able to tailor my level of involvement in the organization. And you participated in a grants review committee this spring, and so tell us about your experience. How did you like that?
Yeah. Yeah, so many people in Impact Us had always talked about these grant review committees, and I know it's a huge part of what the organization does, and one of the, in my opinion, a great first way for people that are new to the organization to volunteer and really understand how it works. So I joined the grant review committee in the spring, and it was amazing. We started with 42 grants. I didn't do some in-depth research on all of them, but I read all of them and I got to study and work on a subset of that. And really to see, just from the very beginning, I was hooked, right? The amazing things that are happening in the Austin community across, environmental, with children, with immigration, with pets, schooling, all of these things around education and the variety and the dedication of these organizations was amazing. So we started with 42. There was a group of about 30 volunteers that met on a regularly basis a couple of times over the grant review committee cycle. And each time we narrowed it down. And so it was exciting to see, all of the due diligence and work that goes into reviewing those grants, and a little bit sad at the same time because it was so many, there's so many great ones. You almost wish that you could just award all of them the money to make their impact a reality. But the due diligence, again, that goes into making sure that these organizations are financially stable, making sure that the impact of their project and their work is going to be something that's measurable and meets the needs of the community, and really studying and understanding the entire operation of the organization. And then at the end, getting to have a little bit of a opportunity to meet some of the last couple of finalists before it goes to the broader organization to vote was really exciting. One of the other things that volunteering time did is it allowed me to provide a matching grant through IBM. So through IBM.org, because I had spent that time volunteering with the nonprofit, I was able to give an extra grant to Impact Austin to help go supporting the overall organization and the needs. And so I kind of met that opportunity in a couple of different ways, but I think it was a great opportunity to meet the people across the organization and also really see what goes into narrowing down from all of the submissions you get into the top 2 finalists in each of the grant categories.
Awesome. Awesome.
So So we talked a lot about what makes Impact Austin unique. I think why there's so much passion for it among those people who are involved. But what stands out to you, Michelle, as one of the things that really makes Impact Austin special and unique, and an organization that you've stuck around with for so many years?
Yeah, so I mean, I think, coming from the tech industry, which is a male dominated industry, working with an all women's collective giving circle was refreshing. It's
Mhm.
fun to work with women who are committed to a cause. It's amazing what they can accomplish. And so that was appealing. I also liked the notion of one woman, one vote. So there was everybody has an equal say in who our final community partners are, and the values of Impact Austin. Our values are inclusivity, empathy, curiosity, and impact. And you really see those values lived every day in Impact Austin through the events that we host, through the community partners that we work with. It's a learning organization. There's lots of different learning opportunities beyond participating in a committee. We have discovery days, and we have annual meeting, and we have different video events. So there's always an opportunity to learn more about what our community partners are doing, the impacts they're having, as well as our community needs. And so that's really appealing to me. And I think finally, I think when you think philanthropy, you think I can't be a philanthropist. That takes, millions of dollars. But through Impact Austin, you really learn that you can be a philanthropist, that there's this really powerful notion in the collective giving. And like you said, pulling your money together with a lot of other women who may have, diverse opinions and diverse interests, but everybody comes together in a very respectful way to decide how to spend our money together and to really have a strong, strong impact in our local community. All the dollars go locally, and so that you're really making a difference in people's lives. So I think that's really unique and special, and one of the things that I love about the organization. So I don't know, what did you feel really good about?
Mhm. Yeah, so I think two things. So you mentioned discovery days, and one of the other things we haven't talked, or just touched on a little bit is the education of the organization. And so even in the, less than a year that I've been part of the organization, being able to participate in the discovery days, the annual meetings, I feel so much more educated on giving and the community, the needs of the community. And so I think that focus on helping not only make an impact with our money, but also investing in the members and educating themselves on what's going on. I mean, some of those Discovery Day sessions that I watched last year, which I think they're available still on the Impact Austin website, were really just amazing, eye-opening in ways that I never understood of what's really happening in the community, some of the challenges we face today, that we face for many years around diversity and inclusion, belonging. And so I think knowing that I'm going to continue to learn and be part of this organization, and it helps me be more actively engaged. The other thing is, the grant winners become community partners. And so I know what the money that went to, these four great organizations this last cycle, but they're still going to be part of Impact Austin. And so I'm going to be able to see, over the next year or 2 years, what that money does, how it's making a difference, what these community groups are doing with the money, which really just helps, I think, reinforce the fact that, there's so much investment and time that goes into reviewing these grants and making sure they're awarded to the right organizations. And then we get to see what really happens. And so I'm excited, as the years play out, to really get to know some more of those community partners and see the great work they're doing in the community.
Yes, yes. I do think that is really exciting, the level of involvement. And when you see like some of those organizations, they get the first grant they've ever,
Mhm.
major grant, and they get it from Impact Austin. And then that just enables them to get other grants, and you get to see them grow and evolve and really become fully what they're capable of being. It's really rewarding. So
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
So yeah, and so I think this year has been a challenging year. You mentioned that with the global pandemic, and also locally with a lot of the crazy weather we've had. And so I think that we want to share a little bit about how some of our community partners have really um, rose up to the challenge and met the community needs. And so we have a short video that we want to share with you, kind of highlighting some of those needs and also our community partners and how they've become involved. So I'm going to share my screen right now and kick this off. So share.
Texas has become the first state in the U.S. to surpass 1 million confirmed coronavirus cases.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
The issues of racism in America span beyond policing. It's about systems and inequities that have been in place for years.
The humanitarian crisis in Texas is accelerating. Millions still without power or water.
We are forever changed. It's been a year of milestones missed, loved ones lost, and communities struggling to stay afloat. Through this, we've gained a new perspective. And with this new perspective comes opportunity. An opportunity to impact those around us. An opportunity to create lasting change together.
Since the pandemic started, our building has been closed, so we've been working remotely using teletherapy, which means that anyone in the state of Texas can access our services.
Austin-based nonprofit Girls Empowerment Network is celebrating Women's History Month with one-of-a-kind girl power, their Spark Kits.
This last week, I worked with a couple pro bono attorneys as they secured the release of 2 men from the Limestone County Detention Center. These are asylum seekers who both had serious health conditions that put them more at risk of the coronavirus.
In spite of a year of struggles, our nonprofit partners have been up to the task. They've put community first and led by example.
We have upped our commitment to producing food for those neighbors who are in need.
As we learn more about the rollout of a COVID-19 vaccine, clinics in lower-income communities are worried about when they'll get access to the shots.
A lot of our community members work at places like HEB, places like home health care.
We are here today at Age of Central Texas. They are providing an opportunity for us to get my mom's shot.
In spite of a year of uncertainty, our mission has never been so clear. Our experience has shaped our perspective. Let's use this new perspective to advance equity across our community, to create change that inspires others to participate. Central Texas is counting on Impact Austin. Central Texas is counting on you. Join Impact Austin today.
Texas has become the first past 1 million confirmed coronavirus cases.
Oops, sorry about that. So any final thoughts that you want to share?
No, I think this was a great conversation. So thank you for really the opportunity to share my experience with Impact Austin, share that with people across the community, the Women's BRG at IBM and others in our community. So it was a great conversation and good to catch up as always.
Yes, thank you. And I do have one last thing to share, which is if you are interested in joining Impact Austin, right now is a great time. We are just kicking off our fall grant cycle in equity and health and well-being. So the GRCs, the grant review committees are open. Our applications are up, and we're excited to get started with another grant cycle. So it's an awesome time to join. So thank you for your time, and thank you, Christy, for speaking with us today. I really appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.